What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is Wednesday, which of course means it's time for another Western York Wednesday here on the channel. And the beer I'm reviewing today once again comes from the Grow Brewing Company, and they are a nomadic brewery that is headquartered in Geneva, New York, and this is their bourbon barrel-aged a dark bloom. So they're calling this one Imperial Stout, aged in bourbon barrels with vanilla beans added. It comes in at 10% alcohol by volume, 25 IBUs. At the time of review, this bottle is approximately 1 month old. So if you want to just get right to the review, fast forward probably a couple minutes at least, because I kind of want to talk about how this beer came to be and want to give some shout outs and whatnot, which we'll do right now. So first things first, huge congratulations to Grow, because they recently announced that they are opening up a tap room in New Hartford, New York, which is just outside of Utica. So really cool to see. Selfishly, I wish it was more in the Finger Lakes region, maybe Rochester, so it'd be easier for me to get there. But at the same time, you know, it's absolutely fantastic. They're getting their own tap room, and I'll have to make a trip out there at some point this year to check out the dig. So big congratulations to them. In addition to that, I want to give a shout out to Alana of Grow, because she gave me the heads up on this beer and when it was dropping in Buffalo. Only one case of this beer showed up in Buffalo, and it showed up at Brewed and Bottled in Lewiston, New York, one of my favorite local bottle shops. Another shout out to the owner of Brewed and Bottled, Chris, who was nice enough to hold me a bottle of this so I could review it on the channel. Speaking of Chris, we are going to try to get together this year and shoot some content at his store. I want to do an interview with him, show you guys, you know, the whole setup he has going on there, and he also wants to review some beers with me. He's like, oh, it'd be great. So we're going to try to make that happen this year. But I just want to, I mean, this is just like this release and what I'm talking about, shouting Alana out, shouting Chris. That's why I love the beer community in general. So many nice individuals. And I'm so happy that I was able to grab a bottle of this so I could review it. Now, this is a bourbon barrel-aged version of a dark bloom, which is like their 8%. They typically do like adjuncts in the beer, and I've reviewed a couple on the channel. However, this beer, I believe on Instagram, they mentioned that they took a couple different batches of just the base beer, so no adjuncts, blended it together, threw it in a bourbon barrel, and then conditioned it on vanilla beans, and that's what you have right here. Now, I've had a barrel-aged version of this back at a beer fest last fall in Niagara Falls, New York, but I don't think it had vanilla in it. It was just like the base, just the base beer, and it was pretty good. I enjoyed it, but I'm really curious to give this one a go, because I've been waiting for it now for about a month, and I'm really excited and happy that I got my hands on this beer. Thick wax. I cut a little bit of a spot here. Hopefully I can crack it off. We will see. I don't know. But also, just look at the label of this. This label is gorgeous. I'm just gonna keep I might put it behind me on the pretentious wall of bottles and cans when this, you know, later on this year. But like, I love the label. It's so awesome. All right, let's see. I'm gonna move the glass out of the way so I don't break it. But let's see if I can get into this. Yes, I can. Come. Oh, I don't know if I'll be able to. This wax is so thick. Come on. That's right. See the beer patrol struggle on camera. I got it. I don't have many muscles, but I got it. Look at that. Look at this. Look how thick this wax is. What the hell? They use some crazy wax on this. Like crazy wax. Can I pull it off here and throw it to? Yes, I can. Just black cap. I'm going to throw a black cap over here as I do. Why not? I don't know how I'm going to put this, but yeah, look at this. This wax is crazy. All right, I was able to work my way through it. We're going to do a little bit. I like to do label out pour, so here we go. We got the hashtag proper glassware. I'm going to pour this entire fucking thing in here. Why? I'm drinking this all tonight. End of story. Maybe not the entire thing. Maybe I won't pour everything. Try to get ahead here. All right, not almost. You know what? Fuck it. We're pouring it all. There's a couple ounces left. Go for me. I'm going for mine. Going for mine today. A little bit of cheat here because you got to. All right, throwing this over here like that, and that looks absolutely gorgeous. Pitch black when it was pouring out. It didn't look like super viscous. It's only 10%. It's not like some crazy 15% beer, but it looked, you know, like a dark brown in the glass. It's definitely pitch black. Hold it up to the light. Pitch black. A finger of a mocha colored head. It almost had a dark brown colored head. Very creamy looking. And again, we have the hashtag proper glassware, and it looks beautiful. Also, huge thanks to Grow. They hooked me up with this at the aforementioned beer fest. I bought a hat from them. I bought beer, kind of chilled and talked to them all night, and they were nice enough to send me home with this glass so I could review beers like this in hashtag proper glassware, because we all know beer tastes better in proper glassware. Knows the barrel in this is fucking like intense. If you don't like bourbon barrel aged beers, you're probably not buying this. But if you do, be forewarned, the aroma, it's barrel heavy. Oh my God, it's a ton of bourbon. And it's like almost like bourbon soaked like vanilla cream chocolates. That's the best way I can describe this one on the nose. There's a ton of like rich chocolate. It's not necessarily fudgy, but it's like rich and decadent chocolate. Then there's this like vanilla kind of sweetness to it, almost a creaminess. I know I'm saying it in the Roman, I'm saying creaminess. I know how stupid that sounds, but I'm just saying. And then a bourbon blast is blanketing this one. But while the bourbon is intense, it's not harsh in the nose. Like I go back and it's just like a nice bourbon. The aromatics just scream bourbon, right? But it's not harsh. It's not like burning my nostrils or anything. There's an underlying like, there's like a toffee. I'm getting like a toffee. Yeah, definitely toffee. Maybe a slight nuttiness as well. There's definitely a roasted kind of malt character here, which you'd expect from a base beer. What is that? Maybe a slight toasted coconut, maybe from the barrel. Listen, this is actually smelling way better than I anticipated. Not to say I go into any of these reviews with preconceived notions. I'm just saying I poured it and I smelled that bourbon. I was like, the first thing I thought was like, wow, this is going to be intense bourbon. And while it is, like nuances of the base beer are coming to the forefront. And I think, again, that bourbon soaked like chocolate vanilla cream thing is definitely hitting for me. Wow, this smells really good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Congratulations again to Grow. Thanks again to Alana and Chris. Hopefully this is just as good as it smells. Cheers. That is delicious. I will say, I remember the barrel-aged version that I had at the beer fest, and I had that early in the fest, like one of my first like half dozen pours. So my palate wasn't shot. I wasn't blown away by that. Like I gave it a 4 out of 5, I think, on tap. So I would have said more like a 4.1 if I was an insider and could do, certain ratings that you can't do if you're not an insider. But I've liked the variants and the regular dark bloom. I did the red eye. I did the chocolate pecan pie one. I've liked those better than that barrel aged version. This, however, is it's a whole different world for me, because that vanilla is adding a substantial difference to the beer from what I remember, if that was even the same beer. I can't even speak to that, but I'm just saying, that was a different barrel aged version, whatever, but this is really good. The body, it's not like amazing, but it's also not thin. You have to keep in mind, this is 10% beer that was aged in bourbon barrel, so it thins it out. This is higher side of medium, lower side of full. I think it's appropriate for a 10% barrel-aged beer. This is more approaching low side of full than it is higher side of medium. So I think that body is appropriate for what I'm drinking. The mouthfeel, it has a nice carbonation. This is mild to moderate carbonated, more approaching moderate carbonation, but it has a really nice smoothness to it, but it's also, there's a creaminess here that's really enhancing the mouthfeel as a whole. The taste is where this one wins me over. I like to break down beers and get really like in depth with the different tasting notes from front to back, malt character, the hop character, whatever yeast is providing, the barrel, whatever. From front to back, I can tell you right now, the forefront is what I got in the nose, and that is bourbon soaked, basically vanilla cream chocolates. That's exactly what it is. So if you've ever had like bourbon, like chocolates before, picture like, Valentine's Day just around the corner, or just around the corner, just happened. If the mixed ones you get, not like the upper echelon ones, not like the Russell Stover. Listen, Russell Stover is delicious, right? And some of the other name brands, but I'm talking about if you go to like your local chocolatier and they give you like a mixed, chocolate heart or whatever, and they're like $30, and you get a really well made, chocolate covered like vanilla cream. Picture that, but someone soaked it in a little bit of bourbon, or there's like a bourbon drizzle or something on there. That from front to back of the palate is exactly what's happening here. Getting a nice punch of bourbon. It's a peppery kind of bourbon. It's sweeter, has caramel. You're getting the oak, the wood itself. And then the vanilla, I think, is just accentuating the vanilla beans in the beer. There's an underlying roasted malt quality to this one to let you know this is an Imperial Stout of some sort. A little bit of caramel. That's caramel and toffee. It's caramel. We're just, you know what? We're going to roll with it. It's caramel. Caramel and toffee is now caramel. It could be coffee, but it's not coffee because that's not right. It's caramel. Yeah, caramel in here. So it definitely has that vibe of those two like caramelized sugars. There's a little bit of brown sugar too as well. Second half of the palate, this is why I really do dig this one as a whole, is that while it's sweet and decadent and rich and kind of, you know, it's a big 10% barrel-aged Imperial Stout with vanilla beans, no doubt. But it's very dry on the finish. This is almost full-on dry for me. And it's not even that like oak tannin woodiness. It's kind of more of a just straight dryness from the beer and the alcohol and whatnot. There is, I will say this, while there isn't any really booze detectable on the palate to say, hey, oh, this is like astringent or anything, my chest is on fire right now. It's big. This is a warming beer, right? It's a very warming beer into my chest, into my stomach. I will say, you know, you got to be critical, and whenever I review beers, I try to be. I love that, you know, bourbon-soaked chocolate vanilla cream, right? I do. I do wish there was a little bit more complexity to this one, because that's the main character I'm getting. I'm talking about, you know, toffee and caramel, aka caramel, and you know, I'm talking about that. I wish there's like a little bit more like dark fruit. I wish that toasted coconut was getting the nose kind of carried over. I wish there was just a little bit more in general to the taste, because this is a scary drinkable 10% bourbon barrel aged Imperial Stout with vanilla beans. Like, it really is. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I always say beers don't have to be complex to be delicious. And I think this is a perfect example where, like, I think this is just really well made. I've really enjoyed Grow. Huge shout out to the FLX boys, Dan and Mike, who turned me on to Grow, especially Dan. Dan was really in early on Grow, and he's like, you know, I think they're going to be a great brewery. And this was maybe a year and a half ago when they first started, year and a half ago. The first couple beers I got from Dan. And I think that, you know, they don't have to be delicious. They don't have to be complex to be delicious. And I'm happy I've been able to try Grow stuff, and I've been, you know, critical of their stuff as much as I can be. There's been a couple beers from them that, you know, they're just all right. They're pretty solid, maybe not for me exactly. And, you know, most breweries are not going to make 100% beers that you enjoy. You know, there's going to be some stinkers from some breweries. This is not a stinker for me. This is the best of all of the dark blooms I've had. I think it just resonates with what I want personally. Yeah, I'm almost getting, I know it's going to sound bad, but I love it, but a little bit of like vanilla Coke, you know, a little vanilla Coke in here. So, what am I going to rate this? Taking everything into consideration, like I said, this is the best of a dark bloom as far as, you know, the stuff that I've had. I am going to give bourbon barrel aged a dark bloom from Grow. I'm going to have no issues giving this a straight 4.5 out of 5. That's where I think this one lands for me. I think that's a great score. It's the best beer I've probably had from Grow to this point. And I just love the whole package of this beer. From what's in my glass to the bottle itself, just very classy overall. The artwork's fucking just out of this world. Like, this artwork is absolutely outstanding. I love it. And I always say that with like all Grow beers, but they really do a great job. Do they have any kind of spiel here on the side? They do not. 500 milliliter bottle. So let's talk about price point availability. Price point for this one at Brewed and Bottled was $16 for that. It's a 500 milliliter bottle, 16.9 fluid ounces. It's under $1 an ounce. That's all I need to know. And what I'm drinking here, 4.5 out of 5 all day, every day. Plus, just, I mean, it looks so classy. Like a label like this, even if I didn't know who Grow was, it'd probably sell me on the beer itself because it looks so classy. It really does. And availability, well, here in Buffalo, there was one single case. I know they got cases of this in Rochester, I think some places in the Finger Lakes, maybe out towards Syracuse and Utica. I really don't know exactly. So the chances of you being able to grab this one and you're not in Western New York or Central New York, probably very slim. But at the same time, I feel like it's kind of my, I don't want to say my duty, but it's you know, I need to review this one because A, I wanted to try it, and B, it's really cool to see them growing, no pun intended, and them getting to the point where, you know, they can open up their own tap room now, and hopefully that opens up distribution for the rest of New York State, maybe out of state at some point. But they are doing some great things. One of my favorite newer breweries in New York over the past couple years, and I hope they just keep on keeping on and just doing good stuff. So If you've had this one before, post in the comment section. I'm sure a lot of you have not. Have you had anything from Grow? What's your favorite? And I'm glad I poured this entire beer because I'm going to sit down for the next like hour and a half and just chill and drink this one. Get my buzz on, but also enjoy every single second of this one. I'll try to review more. Like, I'm trying to be more diverse with my Western New York Wednesdays, so I don't know when I'll get back to Grow. Here's the thing, though. Considering that they're opening up a tap room in Utica and that's not Western New York, at some point Grow is no longer going to be in the Western New York Wednesday family. I'm sorry. But you know, I'll just have to review them as a regular brewery. Do you guys give a shit? Not really. Western New York Wednesdays for me and spotlighting Western New York breweries. Even though Grow won't technically be a Western New York brewery, they'll get distribution here and whatnot still. So we're still going to keep them in the rotation as far as reviews go. Just might not be on Western New York Wednesday. So yeah, like I said, 10% as I drink on this, definitely warming in my chest, feeling good. But it's not overkill, and I think it's appropriate. So again, appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Huge thanks to Chris and Alana for making this a possibility and then a reality. And until the next one, cheers.